and welcome to Candid Conversations with me, your host, Rev Erma. Today we have an exciting package lined up for you. We will be discussing age and ageism. As well, you're going to see me make a bouquet out of fruit. I almost said flowers, out of fruit. And then we're going to have the youth discussing the church, so youth and the church. Stand by. Join me afterwards. Hello again, my friends. It's Rev Erma with Candid Conversations. And our guest today, my guest today, is Ms. Marilyn Rice Boyne. She's no stranger to Barbados, I must say. But let me introduce the world to this lovely lady. She's the president of BARP, the Barbados Association of Retired Persons.
Yeah.
And she is obviously going to tell you a little about that in our conversation. But our topic that we shall be addressing is ageism and aging gracefully. Welcome, Marilyn. It is so good for you to join me.
Thank you so much for inviting BARP to this set tonight.
Thank you.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And right out the gate, ageism. What is that? Where did that word come from?
I don't know where the word originated, but I can tell that it is a practice that has been tolerated throughout the years. And it's really, ageism is really a stereotyping and the discrimination of persons based on their age. Mm-hmm. So you get, like, it happens so easily and people accept it so readily that, sometimes you're doing something and you might get it to go to move a chair or move something and you totally forget what you're about to do, and immediately somebody in the room, or even sometimes you might do it, you say, I'm getting old. And you start to blame negative things on your age. You will say things like, I can't do that, I get tired quick, I'm too old. Maybe it's that you're not fit. The fact that you might not remember things as good as you should could be that you have too many things in the brain. You need to commit some things to your iPad or to paper or whatever, so your brain, free up the brain a bit. And very often, I'm certain you hear of over-the-hill parties when people get like 50. People say, "Man, they can hold an over-the-hill party for you." But how can you hold an over-the-hill party for somebody who's on top of the hill?
Wow.
So it is, and depends on the person's mindset. Mm-hmm. It can bear you down, because nobody wants to look or feel old. But growing old is really a privilege, afforded to a few. Mm-hmm. And every extra day that you're given, you have to rejoice.
Okay, so really, ageism is helping us to accept mm-hmm. our age, or the reality that we do grow older each day.
And it also is, we have to start to address ageism, because ageism is really a discriminatory practice. So people lose their jobs because of their age. People lose out on promotions because of their age.
People can't get insurance
because of their age.
And BARP helped us out with that, right?
Well, you see, but BARP is an organization that is based to empower seniors. So we can't our part of our mission can be to empower seniors and at the same time deny them access, So yes, we look after seniors because we place a very high value on the seniors in our society.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I should be disturbed or not, but at 50, that is when we can apply for the BARP. Mm-hmm. So that means that I old?
No, you're 50 years old, you've half century, and there's reason to celebrate, because some people didn't make it. It's all about celebration. So when you have reached the age of 50, as a matter of fact, There are times that people come to BARP and say, I'm 49, I'll be 50 next month, I'll be 50 in another 3 months, I want to join. They actually knock on our doors to join BARP at 50. So it's part of the celebration. I have reached that age.
Wow.
So it's about celebration, and every day you ought to celebrate.
Yes, rather than harping on the fact that we may have dementia or Alzheimer's because we forget something, we need to understand that we need to embrace the reality of age and age gracefully. So how can we really age gracefully? Actually, I'm looking at you with this lovely color and look so snazzy. And you do look graceful indeed.
And I'll be 66. I'm celebrating 66 this year.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'm not ashamed. I'm 66 this year.
Awesome, yes. So how can more of us feel like you and look like you? And
you have to take care of yourself. And it starts from within as well. And recognize that, you know, I have a dear friend, and he always says, you live in your best life. So you live your best life now, you know, and do your nails and, you know, celebrate your life. I met a lady quite recently, and she had her hair, and she had it in one, and she was saying, when she saw mine, she said, listen, I want to show you my hair. So I had the most beautiful head of gray hair, and it was so pretty. And I said, you just put it in one all the time? She says, yes, I don't feel to open it. It's a girl, wear your hair and celebrate your life. You know, do positive things, exercise. Exercise is very, very important as well. And have friends that empower you. You know, there are some friends or acquaintances that, you know, you might talk with, and you find that when you finish a conversation with them, you're tired. You should avoid those persons. You need people that will give your spirits a boost. And do things. You know, there's so much here to do on the island. You know, go on to a tour of one of the St. Nicholas Abbey, go to Farley Hill, go to Bath. Just go there and enjoy life. And if you want
nature.
to wear, and if you want to wear shorts and you feel like wearing shorts,
old people should wear shorts,
but they're not old people. They're just people they're seniors. So you're seniors. So the seniors are celebrating. So just do what you want to do.
Okay.
Do what makes you happy.
Okay. But how am I going to be happy when everybody's going to be looking at me? It's a bit, look, she know she old.
No,
what she have on?
But if the dude said that to me, I would say, well, I don't have my birth certificate. You know, and so why are you saying this old thing? You know, age is just a number.
Age is just a number.
Age is just a number. I've often heard that said before. And it was said, like, when I was much younger, although my children always tell me, Mommy, anybody younger than you. But when I was much younger, you see here people say age is just a number. I say, But now I've
grown to appreciate that.
I've grown to appreciate that it is real. Age is just a number. Age is definitely just a number.
So if I want to go do rock climbing.
Once your body can take it, you do it. You don't do it to prove a point. If you find that, if you know your level of fitness is such that you can do rock climbing, do it. I walk 5 miles every day. Every morning.
Me too, but I walk it in my mind. I need now to put that into reality.
You need to put it into reality. You need to move it from where it's at.
Yes.
And put your feet out there. I walk 5 miles a day, and I love to walk.
Okay.
I love to walk.
I hope you're listening. Marilyn, in a smart way, is telling us as we age, we need to still make sure that we keep our grace, especially ladies. And we need to exercise. And exercise is not necessarily going in the gym and spending all the money.
No.
We need to enjoy nature and walk.
Maybe gardening.
Gardening.
Whatever brings you joy, whatever gives you that opportunity to relax and, you know, to keep that, you must keep that body in motion, keep that body active. So that's very, very important.
Okay. I must say and quote Psalm 90. I cannot remember which verse, but it says the age of man is 70. Some are strong that they do 80 and more. And thinking about that, it is good though to have that concept, because if you are strong at 80, you should really be fit. and be proud and all of those things that you're saying that we should be. And don't think that we need to drop in the house.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And be at peace with yourself.
And be at peace.
And have a relationship with your God.
Have a relationship with our God. Thinking about that relationship, I know you said about walking and exercising and so on, and I mentioned going in the gym. But COVID has done a lot, put a halt on a whole lot of things for us. Yes. How are how are the elderly coping with COVID? How can we be motivated to get out the house, even since many of us are still on personal lockdown?
I find that what they're doing, of course, some of them, what we've done at BART, we've made sure that you can pay most of your policies and all that online, because we were in the process of taking our seniors through the paces of the computer so that they would, to develop a relationship with the computer, but then COVID stepped in. However, what they're doing, what you find most people are doing, some people have taken up gardening in a real serious way, so you're not going on the outside and mixing with people as such, but some people are growing roses and some people have herb gardens. I could put my hand in the air and testify.
Oh, right.
I have always said, when I retired 6 years ago, I said, not me, I will never get into gardening, plus I don't have green thumbs. COVID told me that I do have green thumbs, so I have a herb garden now.
Excuse me?
I never, ever, ever thought in my life that I would have grown anything. I've always bought my plants and everything big. They had to be finished growing. But COVID showed me that I can grow things. And so if you talk to lots of people, some people are growing flowers, some people have taken up crochet, some people have taken up embroidery. What you find, our seniors are filling those spaces with things that they used to do. And, we often say that COVID has reshaped the world, but it has also allowed us to go back to basics. And, like, as I said, crochet and some little needlework and, things you used to do before. So COVID really was an eye-opener. So, and I must confess that our seniors have coped a lot better than we even thought. We thought that they would have been so afraid and they would have been depressed. So we would do some wellness checks over the phones and things like that. But our seniors have coped a lot better than a lot of people thought they would have.
Awesome. You do have an idea what might be responsible for that?
I think, it is a way of letting go and let God.
Yes, we're here, so
we're here. And when you got up on mornings, and even if you look at the statistics coming through the world, see how many people are dying. In Barbados, we were holding our own. Every day, that was a reason for us to celebrate. And, tell COVID, stay where you are. Don't come too close to us here. So, it was just a matter of, and it comes with experience. It's like going on an airplane, something is going to happen, or you feel they're going through some turbulence. After a while, you could only say, look, Father God, I commit my soul to you. So you just release. So COVID did that to us. COVID said to us, look, I'm here. And we said, look, Father God, you take care. You are in charge. And we just, gradually, we followed all the protocols. The seniors didn't have a problem following protocol. We followed all the protocol because what's most important is that we all want to live.
We all want to
live, yeah.
And live with grace. And as you heard, we need to recognize and appreciate the life that we have, enjoy what God has given to us, not only talk about what he has given to us, but let go and let him. When we let go and let him, life becomes so much easier, and definitely acceptance helps us to move on the right path. So thank you, Marlene, for coming to share with us. And those of you who haven't joined
Pleasure's all mine.
Connect with this lovely lady who is continuing to grow gracefully every day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Going up? Sorry, miss. You can go up on the mask before you can get in the bus. That's the rules we gotta follow.
Man, I rushed out the house this morning and forget the mask. Plus, I don't like them because they must make me for real choke up and I just get at the road there. I ain't going too far. I can get off just now.
I can respect that, but I can't let you on the bus unless you go on the mask. The same way we take your life seriously by following the road safety rules, we also take the COVID-19 protocol seriously in order to protect ourselves and the other passengers. And all the passengers on the bus need to follow the COVID-19 protocols when taking public transport. So before you leave home, you have to make sure you have a mask. We can't afford to let our guards down now.
All right, I'm gonna get the mask, man. Thanks.
All right. Going up?
Uh-huh.
All right. Moms, before you get on, you gotta pull the mask above your nose.
For sure, I forget that.
All right. Get up good, moms. Get up good.
Morning. Morning.
All right, rolling.
You can use a mask that you've purchased, make one at home, or simply use a cloth face covering. I will take this opportunity to show you how to put on a cloth mask. Prior to putting on a cloth mask, it is imperative that you wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. So if you have a face mask such as this with loops, pick it up, holding only the loops, bring it to your nose level and place it on like this, covering your nose and your mouth. One ear first, next ear, and make that one adjustment so it fits snugly and ensure that you can breathe. When taking it off, avoid touching the front of the mask as it may be contaminated. One thing you definitely shouldn't do with your mask, and you will see a lot of people do this, is pull it from the front. This is potentially a contaminated area. So when you're taking off the mask, make sure to avoid this area and simply take it off one loop, one ear at a time. Place the mask in a plastic bag. Clean your hands with soap and water or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer before you touch anything else or before you touch your face. You can wash your mask in a washing machine with warm or hot water with soap. Alternatively, you can wash in a bucket with warm, soapy water for 30 minutes. Take it out and dry it. When dry, place in a resealable bag. Remember to wash your hands immediately after washing used masks and before you touch clean ones. Wearing masks can be uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to wearing them. But if you fit it correctly, you can keep it on for several hours before having to take it off. If you have any questions about the use of face coverings, you can call the COVID-19 hotline at 536-4500.
This time again, or it's that time again, Candid Conversations with Rev Erma. And this evening, we are going to be interviewing my guest, Marcia Blades. She is a former economics teacher. She is now an owner of memorable Moments, and it's Memorable Moments by Marcia B. I never imagined in my life that I would be able to eat my floral arrangement. What about you? This beautiful arrangement before me is actually fruit. And I would never have guessed, and because I probably don't spend a lot of time in the kitchen. But now I'm here, this is so fantastic. And yes, it is purely edible. Marcia, what birthed the idea of this creation? Is this what you do at Memorable Moments?
First of all, I want to say thanks for having me. This is just a part. I do decor for weddings. I also do wreaths for funerals. I also do preserves, and I also bake. That's all in the forte as my years spent as a home economics teacher at the secondary level. After I retired, which was about 10 years ago, I decided that I would supplement my income by becoming creative. I'm a very creative person.
Wow, I could tell.
Not only in food, in dress as well, because I love my hats and bags and whatever, right? So this idea just came about. It's basically self-taught, right? So the fruits I mainly use, which would stand up to the occasion for which it is required. They can be used as birthday gifts. They can be used as thank you gifts because they're edible and they're healthy, right? So the fruits I mainly use are cantaloupe and honeydew melon. I use strawberries, grapes. And then there's some little, if you want to kick it up a notch, you can also add chocolates and sweets depending on the person you're going to be giving it to.
Okay, and the occasion.
And the occasion as well.
Wow. How easy is this? Because I know I could dismantle it easy. Is it easy to put it together? You think I could do that?
Yes, I think you can do it. You just have to, come on, let's try. You just put on your gloves.
I have to put on gloves too? Oh, Lord, help us. Oh, yes, we need to make sure that, now how do I put gloves? Oh, yes. Please bear with me. Have to make sure, because we're going to be cutting the fruit, I believe. That's
No, the fruit is already cut. You just have to assemble now.
Or the assembly line. And, oh, yes, the gloves are important because it's going to be gifts for somebody.
Yes.
Oh, yes, so we don't just cut the fruit with our hands. We have to make sure. Oh, thank you so much.
You have some equipment here. You use to cut the fruit. It will give this a nice pattern. This is guillotine, a small guillotine. Then you can do the pineapple, which you can do as your focal point. You can do it in different shapes. You can have the heart shape, or you can have the floral shape. I like this the best.
Okay.
You mainly use this at Valentine's, or you cut the fruit into your hearts.
Okay. We're on our way.
You're going to use the
toothpicks
to assemble your fruit.
And everything is
edible, all edible. And what I try to do when I'm making them, the container, when the person gets that gift, it's theirs to keep.
Oh, so
right?
I eat some and have some as a keepsake.
Yes.
All right.
Right,
Awesome.
that one there is in a teacup and saucer. Teacup and saucer.
Fantastic.
So you
now
just have your turntable. You can
and I have my turntable. It's not a record player, okay? Turntable, yes.
First of all, you create your focal point. There are 2 pieces of pineapple in here.
See that? Beautiful. And I'm sure she made it with this. Remember when we used to do plastic? See? Okay.
Yes. And you pick up your focal point.
What do you mean by focal point?
This is the focal point where the eyes are attracted to it first. Your focal point. It's just like a flower arrangement. You pick up your focal point and then you
so right here.
From here. Yes. You can. You are trying your own style.
My own style, Lord help me. I've never been creative in my life, so I stick this wherever I want to.
Put a little lower down.
A little lower down. So you say I'm actually making this myself, right? Okay.
You put in another, the other one.
So together?
You can put them.
What about back and front?
Yes, you can do it back and front.
Yes, I like to be even. I like even numbers. So the front and the back, please do not move. My 2 ears, pineapple ears.
Right. And then you start filling in with your honeydew melon and your cantaloupe. You can do a row of the cantaloupe or a row of the honeydew, or you can do alternate.
These things are not going to fall off? Please
Just
forgive
put
me,
it
I have
right.
to ask these questions. This is the first
Put it
time
lower down.
I am doing anything like this, and now I realize why I have to use the gloves.
Push it right there.
I think that we will put the
Okay, so you're gonna do that first. and
thing
then
in
stick it
first. Yes! Oh shoot,
before your-
it actually working. See if I can get the hang of the thing. Oh boy. I don't know what this is gonna look like. I should have done it like that. Do I need?
Put in these spaces, but you can put it a little closer.
So it can be two-tone.
Yeah.
People.
Turn.
What you think? Oh yeah. Oh, the turntable, it actually works. I was gonna move it with my hand. And you know something? For those persons who don't normally like to eat cantaloupe, this design will help you be inspired, will inspire you more, I guess, when it looks so heavenly. What you think? It shaping it?
Yeah. You can use, we have some here, you can use filler. We can use this is celery, or you can use celery or parsley.
I thought that was parsley, actually.
This is celery.
See how much time I spend in the kitchen. I
Homegrown,
don't know
homegrown celery.
these things. People, I hope you're watching me.
And then you build your layers and you come up.
You ever did this with apple, English apple, or that?
No, apple would, you'll have to treat the apple with lime juice to prevent it from browning.
Oh,
So certain fruits you cannot use, like banana, those would turn brown. Melon, the other watermelon, you can't, they don't use that because it gives off so much liquid.
Too mushy.
Right.
Okay.
So basically use the firmer fruits. You can also use kiwi fruit in this. You can use orange as well.
Okay.
Just fig the orange.
I do not know what's happening here,
You can fill it.
but I'm having fun. That's the most important thing. When it drops, it's gone.
Don't forget you got your strawberries here. That you can
Oh,
put your strawberries
I
in
forget about the strawberries.
Focal point. You can move this and put a strawberry here, strawberry there.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for guiding me, darling.
You can put one over here and then one in the middle. And you fill in.
This is so much fun. I am having so much fun doing this. Now what am I going to stick right in the middle?
There's another one there.
Huh?
There's another strawberry here.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. You see the three? God is in everything.
You can fill in with spaces or some more fruit. Huh?
Some more fruit. So I'm going to put... So what color? Yes, this can go right here. Another cantaloupe. Right next here. Another cantaloupe here.
Then you turn it.
My turn. I keep forgetting the
Put in
oh
here.
yes. my turntable. Maybe I should have some music coming out on my turntable. Yes.
You can just fill in these
Working that. Okay.
spaces.
And what is this? You said celery?
Celery.
Never in my wildest dreams I would imagine I'm making anything creative. I hope I'm not. I hope you at home will also experiment with the fruit that you have, and you can bless somebody as they seek to get some healthy living. Should I stick that in? Can I stick that in?
Yeah, that's very well.
Marcia, I think that I really need to thank you for giving me a new way that I can make somebody happy.
Then you put your accent on your
Oh, okay. And my pineapple here
at the center.
has the bud that the bees can come now and take some nectar from it. Yes. So I have a sunflower flower. My creation is finished. Thank you so much, Marcia.
You're most welcome.
There's so many things that we can do with all the fruit that God has given us. Marcia, thank you so much. Marcia, memorable moments. Give her a call. She will give you whatever insight that you need to make somebody happy or extend sympathy or even help them to get well.
Yes.
All of that can happen when you give her a call. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
When given a vaccine, we prefer to use a new needle to administer the vaccine. Before we get the medication into the syringe, we have to dry up. The needle, separate from the one which we are going to use to give the vaccine to the client, is attached to a syringe. We use that needle and syringe then to extract the vaccine from the vial. Most of the bottles will have a very thick rubber bung which seals the cap. Once the medication has been extracted in the required amount, we then proceed to dispose of that needle, or sometimes we rest it in a tray. We attach the needle that we are going to use to administer the vaccine to the syringe which has been just filled with the solution, and from there we approach the client to administer the vaccine. So if there's one syringe, that syringe holds the medication. There's a needle to extract the medication from the bottle. That needle is changed. We attach a new needle to that same syringe which contains the vaccine which we just threw up, and we go ahead then to administer from that point.
If you suspect you have dengue fever or have been diagnosed with this mosquito-borne illness, there are some medications you must avoid taking. Dr. Leslie Rollock of the Ministry of Health and Wellness explains.
what you should do is take anti-fever medication, which we recommend because of the risk of bleeding with severe dengue, not be aspirin or any of those what we call non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. So no Brufen, no Advil, no aspirin, no Wiz, just paracetamol, Panadol, or acetaminophen, which is what the Americans call paracetamol.
Community spread of the coronavirus or COVID-19 places all vulnerable citizens, yes, that's you or seniors, at greatest risk. You cared for us, and now we must do our part to protect you. The government of Barbados has secured doses of a vaccine that will assist us in our efforts to stop the spread of this deadly virus. I urge you, if you're over the age of 70, to register to receive the vaccine. You can WhatsApp or email the Ministry of Health and Wellness with your name, age, national identification number, address, and a telephone number at which you can be reached. You should also state any chronic diseases you may have. The following is very important, so please note. WhatsApp numbers have been established to take your message only. Digicel 850-7071 and 851-7071. Flow 233-VAC, that's 233-8222 and 234-8222, 234-VAC. You can also email vaccineover70@barbados.gov.bb. You deserve to enjoy your golden years in good health and comfort. Let us protect you and care for you the way you did for us. Call now and get vaccinated against COVID-19. Life is precious. We value yours. Let's enjoy your future together, healthy and COVID-free.
It's me again, your lovely host, Rev Erma, with Candid Conversations. And this time around, because I always want to be young, we have some young people, and we're going to be talking about youth and the church. Or young people very close to my heart right here. That's not by design, but anyway. Nicholas Small Warner, and he is a seminarian at Codrington College, and you will probably find out what a seminarian is in this conversation. And on my far left, Dequan, and I have to read to make sure I have it right, Dequan Allen. Look at his lovely face. I know he's no stranger. I'm not going to say anything else. He's a member of St. Barnabas Church. And yours truly. I say yours truly because she's female. And her name is Cassandra Walker. No, I won't say that. I was actually going to say knew her mom. Forget that I said that. Yes, so I'm actually your mother, okay? She's also a member of Christ Church Parish Church. And we are going to be discussing youth and the church. And I did mention to you just a few moments ago that I am with these young people because I hope to remain young. But even as I hope to remain young, I want to find out and be connected to the language that they speak and their inspiration and why they are still in church and why do they love church. And that is the assumption that I love, that they love church because they're actually here. This is not a church time, but they've come to be with me. So that's my first question. Do you enjoy church? Anybody?
Yes. Yes, I do immensely. Although I was conditioned to love church. Conditioned. I grew up in church. And my love for it just grew as I got older.
Your environment is nurtured.
Yes.
You have been conditioned. I know you love it all by yourself.
Yes.
Awesome. Yes.
I would say the same thing as well. For me, I do love church, and excuse me, as Cassandra said, it was basically the same for myself. We were all, well, my sister and I were conditioned, and I say that because we were brought up to go to church, just like our parents did and our grandparents did. But why I also say that I love church was that I think at a point we as young people would have to find for ourselves our own personal reason why we love church. And for me, church is not just a building. It is the people. So I guess because I have been around those persons for a long period of time, and you come to have relationships with such persons, as persons in church, you get to love church. And not just the persons, but what we do when we go to a church building. And I say that because in the church building, you go to worship. So you don't just love church, but you get an appreciation for the worship.
Well said. Daquan.
Yes, of course, for me, I do enjoy church. Although when I was younger, going to church was somewhat of a drag, you know, as a young boy.
I feel you, yes.
As a young boy.
Yes, a young boy, yes.
Mornings, you just want to get out, you want to go. So you want to play with your friends. But my mom always instilled in me from young that, you know, going to church is very important. And as I got older, I started to realize the importance of going to church. Going to church is not just, you know, as the other said, you go in the church building, you feel at home when you go to church. You build a family, and you have lots of friends at church. So I really enjoy going to church and worshiping.
Also, church is about family and friends and all of that connectivity and the worshiping together. Okay. Of course. Oh, sounds really good. I like this language. As I like the language, I know you said it's like family and friends, but what keeps you coming back? You go every week?
Yes, I do.
You go every week?
Yes.
So, okay. No, I go every week. And you know why I go every week? But that's not totally true, but yes. So you go every week? You go every week too?
Yes, I go every week. Unless there's something pressing that I cannot get there, but I mean, most times, yes, I go every week.
So why is that? Why do we go every week?
Well, for one, it was more so of a decision made about 5 years ago. Usually during the Lenten season, the tradition is to take out something. My mother had decided it's time for us to adding something. So we are going to go to church every Sunday for this Lenten season. And after the Lenten season was over, we just continued. And the year after that, I ended up on a plane representing the Anglican Church in Grenada.
Oh, wow.
And then the year after that, I became a server at the church itself. So we just keep going because clearly it keeps on getting better.
It keeps on getting better. Wow.
Well, for me, I think growing up, I didn't really have, I spent a very short time in Sunday school. And that is because from probably around the age of 8 or 9, I started getting into activities in church. So for me, going every week was a result of being, or actually I would say playing a role in the service on Sundays. So for instance, the first thing would have been the choir. And after the choir, maybe like 2 years later when I was 11, I joined the service. Yes, I used to.
So you can actually sing?
I can.
Okay, yes?
Yes. So it became kind of habitual, and I use that word because after a while and you are doing something for a long period of time, you can lose the sense of why you're doing it. And it was just practice having to go every Sunday because you're playing a role, just to play the role, to partake and to do the job that you were supposed to do. But again, as I said previously, there comes a point in time where you have to recognize that there has to be a reason why you yourself are going. And for me, in terms of when I'm speaking to other young persons, I try to get them to understand that, yes, we go when we're growing up because we have to. Well, some of us. We're led to go. But there's a point where you're going to have some questions, and you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I coming here every week? And it is not something that you're going to solve immediately, but it's something that you're going to have to work out within your own relationship with God. And for me, that point came probably around maybe 10 years ago. And you question yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I coming every week? And sometimes persons say things to you, not necessarily about your own relationship with God, but they may say something that might jog something that you have to think about. or it may inspire you to think about something with your own relationship with God. So that also happened to me, and because of that, I know for myself understand, okay, I'm coming every week because I have a relationship developed with God, and we are coming here to worship. Not that we don't do it, the rest of the week.
I was just about to say that
not that you don't do it the rest of the week.
A whole host of people say you don't have to go to church to serve God.
Well, yes and no. But for me, my understanding is that church revolves around the community. So it's just one day a week that you have to come together in a community to worship. You worship, yes, the other days of the week. And then when you say A, you say B as well, because some persons will come on Sundays and then they forget the other 6 days. But coming back to the question you asked, I go, or we go, because we have developed that relationship with God, and we come together as a community to worship Him.
Daquan.
Well, yes, I do go every Sunday for the most part. When I was younger, I was in Sunday school, so I used to enjoy going to Sunday school. But then once I became about, I think from the age of 14, I'm 19 now.
Oh, you're 19 now?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's about 14. I joined the servers at St. Barnabas. So every Sunday I would serve at the altar. And I think that I go every Sunday, I go to church because as a young person, you tend to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of, the week. You go to school, you play sports, you do all kinds of things throughout the week. And sometimes you really miss out on the blessings that God is really bestowing upon you. So I think that Sundays for me, or going to church, is rather my time, giving back my time and showing my appreciation to get closer to God.
Awesome, awesome. This is really interesting. Altar server, chorister. Altar server and altar server. I also used to be an altar server. I knew we had a whole lot of things in common. What is an altar server? Quickly, what is an altar server? Let me go with Daquan. What is an altar server? What does that person do?
Well, my understanding of an altar server is someone who pretty much assists with the priests and the other curates in administering service, pretty much.
Okay.
Yes, but assisting in the liturgy. So there are persons who you would normally see in the sanctuary with the priests, whoever that may be, or the celebrant, I should say, the person who conducts the Eucharist at the altar. And those persons are there to help the priests conduct worship and particularly the Eucharist. So you would normally see them in the sanctuary with the priests.
Okay, they set the stage for the worship. They have the crucifer, the acolytes, if there's incense, and all of that sets the stage, reminding us what our faith is all about, what it's grounded on. So when you see the cross, Jesus on the cross, the lights, the torches represent the light of the world. Yes, so we set the stage for what is gonna, what the rest of the congregation is gonna be involved in this worship. And yes, most of you have been saying when you were young and so on and so forth, and you still go to church, but is there any hurdle that or any stumbling blocks that get in your way even today? Well, I know COVID has gotten into everybody's way, and that is a stumbling block for so many, but is there a stumbling block or any stumbling blocks that you encounter in terms of church, not going or staying or whatever? How are your counterparts, your colleagues, are there many in church?
I'm going to speak on a
Are you at church with a whole bunch of old people?
No, well, I'm going to speak on a broad scale.
Broad scale.
And from experience speaking with persons who are in church, well, younger persons who are in church and those who are not in church, there are a few reasons why younger persons would not come to church. And they're not just persons who are outside, but persons who have been to church, who have probably decided, they're not going to continue, or yes. And one of the major reasons, I think, is that life happens for some persons. And I know that sounds a bit trivial, but it is for some persons that life happens. Persons, after probably going to university. They get a job, they start a family, and many younger persons, and I know this is going to sound fairly negative, but many of them tend to get busy, so to speak, because they have all of these other activities that they're engaged in. And yes, that's what most people would say, you know. Oh, I'm busy, so I'm not, you know, I can't.
So basically, go to church in our spare time.
Yes, that's what some people do. But then, you know, there are other reasons as well. For some persons, again, from experience and speaking to persons, what they thought about what they experienced going to church is that they do not feel the sense of what is supposed to be happening in church. So we preach that we're supposed to be a loving community and we're supposed to embrace all. But then when persons have issues, there seems to be a break somewhere between what we preach and what happens. And for a lot of persons, it gets to a point where they cannot amalgamate the two. And, you know, they decide, well, I'm not seeing what is supposed to be happening, so it doesn't make sense coming, you know. But at the same time, you still have to remember that persons in church are not perfect. I try to tell persons that, but, you know, as we said before, it is a community. Anything can happen in a community, but it is still important for us to go, and we still have to be able to connect with those persons even though they might leave. So those are two reasons why persons would not, or why ourselves as young people may not come to church.
Okay, you guys agree with him?
No.
What's your take?
Though I may be the only Anglican in the surplus of friends that I have, most of my friends are in church. I have friends that are Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Methodist, Catholic, and every day that we worship, we are most likely in church. The only hurdle that I would have personally come across was as a young girl. Sunday school was torture for me. I did not like it, and the people that were there at the moment did not like me.
And that is putting it bluntly.
That is putting it very bluntly. Though I thought I was making things up, a scared little girl didn't want to go to church. My fears were proven when one of them had asked me what my last name was, and I lied because I didn't know what they were going to do with that information. And they continued with the false information and laughed at the fact that I had this name or that name, only to later realize that one of them had the same last name as me. So, double-edged sword. But I decided, okay, Mommy, if you're going to make me go to church, I am not going to Sunday school. I'm going to join you in church, no matter how boring it may seem. And I will enjoy church with you instead.
Endure.
Endure became enjoy.
Yeah, believe you me, I'm just picking up on that word because sometimes I might be deaf. So I just want to know that I'm hearing that you say endure, because I get the feedback as a leader in church that a lot of younger persons endure church. What do you have to say about that, Daquan? Do people endure church?
Well, personally, I think church for me is more of an enjoyment rather than something I have to endure, something that seems to be boring. When I go to church, I think that for the most part what the priest is preaching in the pulpit and the things that are going on within the church, I think they resonate pretty well with me. On the topic about younger people going to church, why do young people go to church or why do they not go to church? I think that from a male perspective, I think that life happens a bit quickly for some people. We say that the church is supposed to be a family and we're supposed to show love to people, but how are we supposed to tell a young boy who is receiving love from somewhere else, let's say the block, that church is the answer for him when what he is feeling on the block is what he enjoys? How are we supposed to tell him that church is the right path? So for me, I think that we need to resonate better with the younger people and pretty much reach out to the young people instead of sitting and asking the young people, come to church, why don't you come to church? I think sometimes we need to take the church to the younger people.
That's a real challenge, I think, that we ministers will have, and I'm gonna point them to you guys, because as we wrap up our conversation, my constant struggle is, and like I say, I love young people. I love them because I always want to maintain my youth. But more importantly, I think I agree with all of you that church is some place where you feel connected, you feel the love, you feel your appreciation of the life that God has given to us. And life really is beautiful. Life should be treasured. So if life should be treasured, and this is what we truly want to share with others, then there has to be something that we can say or something we can do to encourage more young persons to feel what we feel, to want to be with us where we are. What is that one thing in a second? What is that one thing that you could do or you think the church should do? How the one thing?
I think for me, my one thing is just how we have to be cognizant of how we approach and how we relate to young persons, how we deal with them, how we treat them in our everyday lives. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but just our normal everyday duties and how we relate to them. We pay more attention to how we think and act towards young persons. And if we can do that and show the love that we're supposed to show in our day-to-day relationships and start, let's say we start in home. We start in home with our family members, our brothers, our sisters, our nephews, our nieces, and let it go out into our different circles, because those younger persons will have their own circle of friends and others that they would be close to. So once we can start with ourselves and be able to relate better to younger persons in our daily duties, then I think that's where we can start.
Relate better to persons. Yes, sir?
I think that church and religion needs to become more of a conversation, and not just does God exist or the basic things that people may tend to argue about. I think that the same way how a young person may go home and say, oh, this is the latest video game that's out with your friends or whatever, I think that as young people, we need to have more of a conversation of the things that go on in church. And I think that if you may have a close buddy and you go and you said, well, hey, I learned about this in church today. Why don't you come and, let us discuss it. Let us see where the pastor is going with it next week. Let us go ask questions. I think that's how we will really get young people into the church.
And you want the people to ask the questions in church while church is going on?
No, nothing is wrong. I think that most pastors are friendly, so nothing is wrong with
just
asking a question after.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
To me, I think positive peer pressure would be a great way to get people into the church. There are a lot of young people in the church already. If we were to use them to get to their friends or to get to other people in their communities to come into church, it would not only pique others' interests, but the mere fact that this certain person that is their age, that goes to school with them, that lives in their certain area, that they relate more to than, say, a mother or grandmother walking on the street, than an old man walking on the street, or someone that you're catching the van with. This person is your age. This person knows your struggle, is asking you, hey, would you like to do this at my church with me? Or, hey, how about you join me at church this Sunday? Because to me, the only way we as a church will get more young people in is if we utilize the young people that are already there. Because it's one thing to get them in, it's a whole other thing to get them to stay. And if you were to use the resources that are already there, we would get somewhere.
Okay, so there you have it. The voices of the young people telling us or sharing with us some ways that we can actually get person their age in church, and not only in church, but stay in church. Meet them where they are, have real conversations, ask questions. I just want to end on that. You see me going through my phone, and this is what the young people do, I assume. So I was going through the phone, and just to wrap up, and this is a joke. Why I want a tattoo? Okay, so this is a young person saying. Because I think they are a form of artistic expression, and they look cool. But of course, the Bajan mother says, to make me shame in front of the whole family, the church, Sherry Ann up the gap, because I know she, and then, cause I know she pressure, hi, and I can raise it a little more. What do you think about that? Do not answer. But whilst you were talking about we need to meet people where they are, and the young people in particular, we just need to understand them and have real conversations. Thank you so much. I feel so much younger. Thanks so much for joining us on this week's episode of Candid Conversations. I am sure that you had a wonderful experience and you look forward to next week. Over and out.